have a moment of silence for all the bullshit that happened this week.
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
I can't do it, Victor. I can't. This is usually, we go on a rant, we talk about, hey, the next hour is just going to be wasted, it's going to be two idiots who talk about things that don't matter, and, if you're going to waste your time with us, go share us on social media, and I can't do it.
You gonna be okay?
No, I'm not. You know why?
Tell.
The world is just all fucked up this week. And,
yeah, it's pretty bad.
And those people seem to think that their opinions matter. And so they do violent, terrible things to show off their opinions. And then I like to think, have more reasonable opinions. And then we are humble enough to say that ours don't matter. So, fuck them. Our opinions matter and those people don't. The person who I won't name, because I don't think these people deserve actually being named, who killed Richard Collins, who's a person. That's a human being. Richard Collins III. He's a 23-year-old man who was just recently, commissioned as a U.S. Army second lieutenant. He was about to graduate this week from nearby Bowie State University. And a monster who is associated with a Facebook group called the Alt-Reich decided.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
Mm-hmm. Decided that guy shouldn't live anymore as he waited just for like an Uber, just on, I think it's, maybe it was University of Maryland, University of Maryland campus. He was just waiting for his ride.
Yeah, it sucks.
So fuck that guy.
Yep.
Right? And then after that,
That's definitely not the only thing that happened this week.
I know, I was going to make fun of things like, the CIA director, former director actually came out and said that there were ties to Russia and and it was that's bad. That's pretty, that somebody's yeah, that's absolutely happening.
We can make fun of that.
Yeah, that's not even bad. Worst part is that last night in Ariana Grande, is that right? Grande? Did I say that right?
I think it's a venti.
Her,
sorry, I couldn't help myself.
A tall. At her concert out in Manchester in England, somebody set a bomb outside of the door as people were exiting, full of nails, killed 22 people. One of those people, an actual human being named Safi, 8 years old. She passed away.
Damn.
There are dozens of others still in the hospital. Again, they've tracked down the person who did it. We're not going to talk about him here.
Not worth mentioning.
Because what
Damn
people
it, I love Ariana Grande. And I love Manchester.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So here's what I want to put out there is, a lot of people are going to say, especially with that Manchester issue, that there's a Muslim who put a bomb somewhere. And I'm going to say categorically, that is not a Muslim.
It's just some chud.
That is just an asshole who thinks his opinion matters and it doesn't. So for the record, I know Muslims. I've worked with Muslims. I have friends who are Muslims. That guy's not a Muslim. So fuck him and fuck the monster who took the life of a young man who was about to serve our country. Richard Collins III, now not with us. So this is where it gets difficult, Victor, because people tuned into this podcast to laugh and to escape from the world a little and to enjoy themselves and to forget about hopefully all of this stuff. And if we don't do that, this stuff wins. These people want us to not enjoy life and want us to not be happy and want us to be as miserable as they are. So I say we don't let that happen. So this has happened. All this stuff occurred. We've now talked about it. Mm-hmm. It is horrible. And now we're going to move on to something and put on our big boy pants and try and put on a show that is entertaining and that flies in the face of what these bastards want us not to do. So without further ado, on this somber week, I'd like to introduce to you two very talented men from the band Burn the Ballroom.
Let's not exaggerate. Okay.
Well, So Thomas and Adriel, welcome. Sorry that you had to come and join us on such a somber week. I promise from this point forward, it just becomes a
waste of motherfucking time.
Yeah, just hilarity, and we'll put this aside and be ridiculous.
Well, no, actually, that's fine. That's like ideal for us. This is kind of like where we thrive.
It's just
in the middle
depression,
of horrible
Teenage
sadness.
angst.
Yeah,
right?
It's probably good I wasn't allowed to talk during that moment.
yeah.
Right. So
There's some terrible jokes texted back and forth between each other.
I'm
during
sure.
introduction, which is really, I'm actually really proud of him for actually just texting them instead of actually having said them out loud. That
You
would have
could
been really bad, actually.
You could see him straining, right? Just to should I say it out loud? I mean, we have to sometimes. It's so ridiculous that sometimes you just have to laugh about it because otherwise you just go insane. I mean, it's
True.
that this stuff exists. That you guys are doing concerts. You're doing a tour, right? Where are you touring?
We're gonna be we just got back from some stuff.
Yeah.
Thomas and I were in Paris for a little while.
No big deal.
Yeah,
Paris.
yeah.
Just a world tour. No big
Paris,
deal.
Virginia. No, we were in the France, and then the band was in Russia for a month in
Yeah.
the fall, and then we're gonna be doing a thing. The two of us are gonna be doing a thing on behalf of the band in Switzerland this summer.
Oh, it's just the two of you
Yeah,
making castles in the sky.
Nice.
yeah.
Sweet.
See, and that's the thing. So you guys are off in other countries where you don't know a lot of people. People who you've probably barely ever met are coming out and supporting the music that you're doing, and you're getting to meet them, and you're probably very grateful that somebody is coming and supporting you from a totally different country.
Yeah, I have no idea why they give a shit.
Right.
It's amazing.
I'm amazed anytime anyone listens to us.
In
Yeah.
And
Russia.
And immediately suspicious. I'm immediately
Yeah.
suspicious. They're like, I love your music. I'm like, get the fuck away from me.
What's your
I don't
game?
have any money. I'm a musician. Go away.
Well, and then imagine outside your concert, something like this happens, and you're like, there's a personal sense of kind of maybe you had something to do with it, right? Like you came to see my music, and then this happened.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry. Like
But
you put yourself out there.
I was thinking
so-
about that. I heard a discussion about that because apparently you mentioned the Ariana Grande concert, and she
Yeah.
was saying that she felt really terrible. But
Yeah.
somebody was having a discussion and saying, if it's not, I don't think it's good that she feels some sense of attachment to the fans and the people
Sure.
who got hurt. But at the same time, if it wasn't her concert, it would have been somebody else's.
Right, that's true.
so-
It would have been the what was it? The Eagles of death metal.
Yeah, the Eagles of death metal in,
Yeah.
in Paris. Yeah.
I mean, it's just they're just attacking art. They're attacking
Crowds. It's just crowds.
It's just
and
where lots of
children.
people gather. Yeah.
I mean, children this time, just children going and seeing Ariana Grande for the first time ever.
Yeah.
I noticed that, at least on Facebook, so the source of real news, it was like everybody opened it with like I don't really like Ariana Grande, but, and then they're like, it was like, why?
Why do you feel
Why
the need to
do you
put
think
your
that?
opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
no
does that
one likes
feel like?
Ariana Grande. We already know that.
Don't
part.
hate. All
Hey now.
right.
Hey now.
Don't hate.
Right. It's a,
She's funny on SNL.
I mean, her
you
her thing with John
shut your
Legend was
whole mouth.
awesome for the new Beauty and the Beast.
there
Sure.
you go.
I've heard that she does some really fantastic impersonations singing.
Yeah.
wise.
Oh my
She
God,
can
she's
nail.
good.
Yeah. Have you heard this?
Yes.
If you go online and check it out, apparently she'll do impersonations of Barbra Streisand and all this stuff and
Cher.
nails it. Cher, is that
Oh,
one of them?
she's so good at Cher.
I'm just gonna ignore the rest of this conversation and just go look this up online right now.
It's brilliant. I mean, I'm not even I'm underselling this.
You're like, I
She
don't like
nails it.
Ariana Grande.
I don't
but-
like Ariana Grande, but
But by the end of those impressions, you do believe in life after love. After love. After love. After love.
I love that song.
so Burn the
That song
Ballroom.
so much.
You guys
That's
have
us.
one other thing coming up that I think is cool. Well, first of all, you have an album that just came out, right?
Yeah,
Talk
April,
to us.
April 11th.
Yeah,
What's it
April 11th.
called?
It's called Ghost Notes.
Nice, like
Yeah.
it. Tell us a little bit about that. What was the inspiration for Ghost Notes?
Well, it was kind of like
Just to make money.
Yeah, essentially, I was trying to.
Just fart out an album. And
Yeah,
get cash.
somebody just buy this shit.
I wasn't really thinking about it too hard. We were just wondering, what the Russians would like, and we were just pandering,
Yeah.
endlessly pandering.
Wearing
So
tracksuits.
who came up with the music pun for the name?
That would be me.
Nice.
Which I
Adrian.
learned about like a week ago.
You learned about Ghost Notes?
Yeah, I
You
was
didn't know they
like,
existed.
No, I never put the
God
idea
damn it,
together.
Keith. God damn it, Keith.
I just like when I suggested it and he was like months, like a year ago, I was like, yeah, what about Ghost Notes? And he was like, yeah, that's cool. And I was like, oh, he gets it. No, apparently no.
I thought it was just like letters from ghosts. And I was like, all right, that's cool. I'm like, I might have more formal music training than anybody else in the band. I never was like,
I mean,
oh, right, the thing that's called
certainly.
a ghost now. Whatever.
He rewatched Poltergeist that night.
Yeah.
So does the album itself speak to kind of people that have passed on, or is this from notes from the past, or is it?
I think it was just like a common thread. It was phantoms in one form or another. It was either like things that haunt us from our past, or our song Dark Dance is actually just like a straight up ghost story about two former lovers that meet on the dance floor every night. And then just sort of that theme that seemed to carry through these songs. So I decided we should just round these up into an EP.
That makes sense. All right. Well, cool. Well, we're going to listen to a little bit of one of the tracks a little later on. If people are too impatient for that, they can fast forward to the 1 hour mark of this podcast and check out the song Threnody. Is that right? Threnody?
Threnody.
Now you're just making up words.
Making up words.
Threnody.
Ramen.
Throstentation.
It's not a real word.
Threnody, which is actually a word that I learned in high school that I've been like waiting to use for like over a decade. It was like it's the
And you
Threnody.
wasted it on one track.
I know. I don't know if you've heard. I don't know if you've heard the track, but I was like, finally, I have a song that's worth naming. Threnody. Threnody is a
Dog's name.
Is another word. Yes. It's also
Indiana?
another word for a dirge. So
okay.
in
all
the
right.
in the theme,
Now you're just making up another word.
in the
type of
festive theme of the show, we're just bringing it way down.
Yeah, really. I'm glad you matched the
Right.
the energy that we have today.
Yeah,
and
that's
let me
okay.
guess, dirge also means splack.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, if you want to use the Latin,
flamboyantest.
sure.
So we'll hear a little bit of that again. Fast forward to the 1 hour mark if you want to hear that particular dirge. Also, we'll find out a little later about a show that you're doing at a marathon that includes wine, which sounds very dangerous. So stay tuned for that because
Stay hydrated.
Yeah, that should be really entertaining. So speaking of things that haunt you, this week we will be introducing you to the weather report.
Well, we're going to throw some headlines at you, describe some ridiculous stories that have happened in the past week or so, and you guys can decide whether or not it was worthy of the news.
Tight.
And you can use any criteria you see fit. Somebody decided a couple weeks ago on whether or not things should have been news by the tone which we said them. So the criteria are completely
whatever
irrelevant.
methodology you have, we won't judge.
I'll just grade it.
Yeah, we
There you
will
go.
judge it, but it's fine. So I'm going to start with what I think is absolutely news. It's a simple story that I think is brilliant because what it does is it wraps up the entire concept of karma in one simple activity, right? This is Hunter dies after elephant falls on him. Let me explain. If that were not enough, it gets better. I will just go through the series of events that occurred in the very few minutes at the end of this hunter's life. Hunters came upon a pack of elephants. There were, I believe, baby elephants there, which they disturbed.
I have a quick
Are they
question.
called? Are they called packs?
Is it a pack?
A pack.
Can we-
A pachyderm?
Right. A pod of elephants.
Can I just go ahead and grade that collective noun D-? Can we give that a better name?
Sure. Well, at this
Definitely a
case,
herd of elephants.
yeah, actually,
No, I don't like that one either.
in this particular story,
Thomas.
it was a murder of elephants. So we
Not so bad.
That's
yeah.
good.
Wait a minute. Yeah,
What?
it's pretty bad.
Yeah. So the elephants kind of storm the pack of hunters to get them to go back to get away from the baby elephants. The female elephants do that. One shooter shoots at the elephants. So a mother elephant picks up the hunter with her trunk. Now this is a badass elephant. He's shooting at the elephant. She's like, I don't give a fuck. Picks him up. The other hunters are freaking out and now feel like they have to kill this elephant to save this guy's life, right? And she's trying to defend her own life. Well, they shoot that elephant to the point that elephant dies, falls over, lands on the guy who's in his trunk, in her trunk, and he dies.
Suck on that.
Experiencing instant karma.
A plus.
Yeah, rarely do you get to see this in the wild.
Was this in like Jersey?
Yes, this was in New Jersey, South Africa, New Jersey, which is near Teaneck, I believe.
Next to Trenton,
Yes,
South Africa.
It's
And Paris, Virginia.
close to the city
Okay.
of Johannesburg,
Sure.
New Jersey.
So what do you guys think? News? Not news? Does it work for
We
you?
got an A+.
Does it tickle your
I
fancy?
think that's
Say A
news.
plus.
How about you? Do you concur?
Yeah.
All right,
It's
excellent.
Solid.
that guy gets what he deserves, I guess.
I got one that's news. Go for it.
All right, here we go. Desperate male white rhino joins Tinder in effort to mate.
What?
Yeah.
It doesn't even have thumbs. How does
It's,
that work?
I don't know, man. They're very, very determined. So his profile reads, I don't mean to be too forward, but the fate of my species literally depends on me. I perform well under pressure. I like to eat grass and chill in the mud.
Yeah.
No problems. 6 feet tall and 5,000 pounds, if that matters. But apparently,
Stocky.
obviously somebody made this profile for him.
Yeah.
And if you swipe right, it takes you to a website where you can donate to help him do shit. I read the article, but I stopped caring halfway through the explanation.
How bad do you feel if that rhino swipes left on you?
Oh, man.
Like even a rhino.
He is the
won't
last
swipe
one
left.
of his kind,
I know.
the northern white rhino.
Literally, I have to mate to save my entire species. Left.
I didn't even, I was hoping for a super like on that shit.
Left. Wow, that's not doesn't get more desperate than that.
But that's pretty creative. You're swiping through like desperate to get laid, desperate to get laid, desperate to get Rhino? Rhino. Yeah. Okay. I'm curious. And you swipe right.
Like I know after the first person and the news came out that there is a rhino up on Tinder, that it was pretty cool. People were like, "Oh yeah, I want to be a part of that." But the first person that swiped left, that's a brave human being, right? Because that
guess,
person
yeah.
was like, "Rhino."
Well, it's not
Yeah.
like there's the whole point is there's no consequence to anything.
Yeah, but then an elephant falls on you. It's
like
just
he's-
instant karma.
He's humbled with bravery, you know.
How drunk was that first person though? Just like,
I'm curious
not
about
bad.
the person who sacrificed their Facebook account to make that the rhino. It is like, well, I'm on Bumble, so fucking make a rhino
The
account.
most useless
on
app
Tinder.
ever, Bumble.
Yes. So is it news though?
No, I hate it.
What? It's the first non-human Tinder profile.
Is it the first though?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen some women I'm not sure about,
Your
but
stern
well,
delivery just tickled me. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So no, do you concur? Not news.
I don't
No, all right.
I don't
Sound
care.
fair. I don't give a shit about it.
No, I
Actually,
hate it. It's just the best.
It's just terrible. This is important news. I don't know if you guys have any old cell phones laying around, but apparently
On me?
old Nokia phones are finding new life as sex toys.
That makes sense. They'll
Oh,
probably never
speaking of
break.
Tinder,
Yeah, because of their strong vibration function, the old Nokia not smartphones, the ones that were like the candy bar kind of thing, are getting new lives as vibrators. I guess I hope you're putting it in a condom first or something, because that seems just retrieving it could be
Yeah,
an
I mean
issue.
that was my first concern.
well, you got to put it in a condom. Those things never die. Doesn't matter what you do to them. You could swallow it whole and shit it out. That phone would still ring.
The battery's great on it. I mean, that's,
Doesn't
that's
even
for sure.
explode.
No.
Yeah, you'd set that on a table and it wouldn't be like buzz. It would go.
Yeah.
I'm so confused by how that would work.
If you
Like-
use the new Samsung Note as that,
Note 7.
then we would run into the same story that we had last week with the burning vagina.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
but more
Yep.
literal. It would be terrible.
And it would just be way more impressive to watch
yeah.
because that phone is like 5 inches wide.
Does it seem like it's
It is like talking to a piece of toast.
Yeah,
The-
right.
the
It's
problem-
like fucking a pancake.
the problem with this concept is that it's actually more suspicious, right? Because if your parents walk in and you have a cell phone from like 1995, they're gonna be like, okay, I thought you were just in here masturbating, but apparently you're running a drug ring. Like what's going on
like a
there?
burner phone?
And you have an old Nokia that still has a working phone number that you can call to make it vibrate.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sketch.
Yeah.
Maybe you just set an alarm on it or something.
I think what
That
was,
makes no sense.
I don't think you had that app on those phones anyway.
that's what I'm thinking is actually happening. The Nokias aren't actually being used as sex toys. It's just like kids are having their parents walk in them as they're doing like drug deals, and they're like, "Oh no, I was masturbating. It's fine. I'm using the phone for masturbation. I just need a minute." Yeah, Carl. Yeah, just the whole kilo. And then it's a thing. I have a kink.
It's a really entrepreneurial kid.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Like,
Well, first he
I
got.
don't get out of bed for less than a kilo, Carl.
I mean, he already had to show drive. He got like a 2001 smartphone. You had to
He's
find
frugal,
that.
okay?
Yeah.
He invests back into his
Was there a
product.
smartphone in 2001?
No, that is a 2001 smartphone. It's not very smart.
Just a dumb phone.
Right. That's the smartest they got.
Wow.
All right.
Well, I guess
Oh, yeah. So
solid
news.
news. Yeah.
News? Yeah.
Sure.
Speaking
I'm
of,
taking news.
Speaking of sex toys, a black man who lost a penis in botched circumcision to have transplanted organ tattooed because his donor was white. Yeah.
So the penis that he got is white, and then
Right.
now he's going to get it tanned up.
The thing is,
Who
really,
donated that?
I don't know.
A dead
That's
white
a
guy.
solid question. I hadn't even considered
Dead
that.
person?
I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I guess you could go like
Some guy with 2 dicks.
sex change.
Like if
oh,
you
no,
say like
no, because it becomes like a sock at that point.
Did he also get it? I hope he also got it from Carl.
I'm guessing
Carl gave him his penis.
when you do
Oh,
the
right.
check mark that says like that you are donating your organs, maybe you don't get a choice as to which ones. They could take all
at
of
any
them.
time.
Yeah, at any point from that moment forward, they
That's
can
why I'm
take
not an
your
organ
organs.
donor.
Yeah.
Not now, not never.
But what struck me as odd was he's a 40-year-old guy. And it says botched traditional circumcision.
Maybe he
Am
was
I wrong
converting.
in thinking maybe? I guess that could be an option, but traditional circumcisions tend to happen when you're pretty young.
Maybe the reason that it was botched is it took 40 years.
Right, it's a 40-year procedure.
Yeah, that was a really botched.
Yeah.
Just a little at a time. We're just going to perforate.
Right. So they're going to medically tattoo it as if that's different from regularly tattooing it for the quote, quote, color discrepancy.
My theory would be that you would want to get a tattoo artist in there, not a doctor. The doctor doesn't know what he's doing, right?
Right.
I mean,
You'd be
if he's trying to get like tribal,
Right. Like that's, which is what he should do.
yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like add just some Chinese characters on there. I don't know. Whatever. Let's make this thing look decorative.
But they attached it, and they're going to tattoo it like 6 months later when it fully heals and whatnot, and it's fully functional.
So he's just gonna hurt for like a year.
That's going to suck a whole lot. No, he's not going to be able that's just bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Is it news though? It's bad, but is it news?
No.
No, not news.
No, I hate it.
Oh,
I have no opinion.
all right. This one I think is absolutely news. I'm going to be a little long-winded with this because it amazes me. All of the others have been ridiculous for various reasons. This one is ridiculous because of how horrifying it is. There's a black man in Georgia who will be
Speaking of black man.
Yes. He'll be spending the next 6 years in jail despite a jury finding him not guilty. I didn't know this was
Is
possible.
it just because he's black? What?
The Georgia judge overruled the jury to incarcerate. His name is Rahman Chapman, and essentially, he went through several steps, which amazes me, right? Because first he went, so he was on parole. He was doing fine on parole, checking in, doing all his things. Somebody basically pointed at him for armed robbery. He said, "I didn't do armed robbery. I'll go turn myself in." So he turns himself in and goes, "Yeah, let's do this because that's not me," right?
Mm-hmm.
They decide, it was you. That was totally you. And he's like, it wasn't me. I literally came here to let you know it wasn't me. And so he goes, this isn't going to work out well for me. At the court case, he decides to plea an Alford plea, which is essentially saying, in this case, he was going to take the charge of aggravated assault, exchanged for armed robbery being dropped. And being an Alford plea, it's essentially saying like, I'm not guilty, but I don't think that I can prove my innocence and you're going to find me guilty. So you're still maintaining your innocence, but you're taking essentially the punishment, right? They refuse to take that deal.
Dick.
They go, you have to go on trial. So they go on trial. They go on trial. The jury comes back and says, he's innocent. The judge goes, nope, I don't believe you. You're off to jail. He's-
Is that a thing? Is that a thing that can
Apparently.
happen?
I have no idea how this has happened. So that's the whole gist of it. Like, essentially, a judge is allowed to be like, nah, you don't know this guy like
I don't like
do.
the Constitution anyway.
Yeah, I have no idea how it is possible. But apparently,
Don't you have to
essentially,
be proven guilty, not you're proven your innocence? Why would you even make that beginning deal?
so essentially the thing is that he is what I've gathered is he's not in jail for the armed robbery, which he's been found not guilty of. He's in jail for violation of his parole, which he didn't violate. The only violation of the parole was armed robbery, which he was found innocent of.
Seems like he'll be in court pretty soon again.
Yeah, some lawyer who actually knows their shit needs to get in there and just be like, let me explain why this is the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah, but if
That-
you hire Johnny Cochran, you look guilty.
The fact that it got this far, though, is the question. Is it news or not news?
I'm
Absolutely.
enraged, so yes.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely news.
You do seem worked up. All right, Thomas, this one's for you. Your fear of Skynet is finally here.
Oh, no, it's here.
World's first operational RoboCop hits the streets in Dubai
That's a wrong
as they
movie.
build their robot police force.
It is the wrong movie, but
Yeah.
we'll go with it.
No, I'm just saying, robots are taking over.
Yeah, but Skynet.
That's the first step towards
different
you-
movie.
You shut your whole
There's
mouth.
RoboCop, and then there's Skynet. 2 different movies.
Fear of technology taking over. All right, Jesus.
Just
but
be
it,
consistent.
apparently, this thing it's 5 feet, 5 inches tall, so it's not that threatening. Weighs 100 kilograms, which is pretty heavy. Speaks 6 languages and is designed to read facial expressions.
What is the kilogram to pound ratio? I don't
Just-
know
Just
this.
under 3.
Just under
3 to
3.
1, yeah.
So this is like a pretty
It's a heavy
hefty,
fucking
okay,
thing.
yeah. It's like a 300-pound.
Is it armed?
It's got arms.
That's not, I think, what he was referring to. but-
No, I don't think it's armed because it can't make
I
make
was
decisions
wondering
about
the
whether
autonomy level of it.
Can it tase you, bro?
Yeah, but possibly.
Yeah?
But it can report nonsense and bullshit.
So
it does a whole bunch
They
of
made
shit
like a
that's just
300-pound metal snitch.
yes. They made a 300-pound metal snitch parking ticket writer.
I mean, if it's 300 pounds made of metal and it can move, it's a weapon, right? I mean, like, it'll just run over you.
Pretty
Right?
much. But yeah, it's out there being a dick, enforcing all those laws
Has-
that nobody wants to follow, like
Has
parking
it
laws.
arrested anyone?
It has arrested somebody.
What?
Actually.
Like, stay here while some person comes.
Yep.
Yeah.
You are being detained while the police arrive. Is
While the
basically what it
police
does.
are-
How
Am
tough
I-
is it
Fuck
to...
you, kid, or
is
I'm
it-
out.
Yeah, right.
Am I being detained?
Is it
All right,
really...
Will Smith and iRobot.
How good is it at getting up? Because you could just
Push it.
be like, no, this is dumb.
Hi, I'm Bappo, and it
I'm
stands
not
back
doing
up.
this. Am I being detained? Am I free to leave?
No.
Am I being detained? Am
no.
I being detained? Am I free to leave? The robot's like, why do you keep saying that? God, just
What's
go.
with the 20 questions? Fuck off.
Or imagine you don't speak one of its 6 languages and you're just really terrified of it.
Yeah.
So is it news or not news?
Yes, I'll give you 1 unit of
You
news.
got one.
C plus.
All right. Sweet.
is the
I'll take
worst.
it. C's get degrees.
That's the worst week ever, I think, for you.
Sweet.
I swept that. Oh, you should be so embarrassed by yourself.
Moving on anyway.
Yes. So we kind of left people hanging a little with this, which I think is just brilliant. I know when we first started the show, we were going over the pre-show stuff. You said, this may not be the right show to promote, but there's something brilliant about a marathon that includes wine, right?
Mhm.
I mean, this there's so many things that could go wrong here.
Wait, is it marathon drinking or is it marathon running?
I mean, it depends on how aggressive you want to be with it.
Yeah, it's Saturday,
Okay.
June 3rd, and you start in Virginia wine country and then just wander around wine country for a half marathon. So,
And then you wind up at our concert where we're playing to serenade you.
right,
Yeah.
Nice.
where you're both dehydrated and there's wine. So that's a combination that's going to turn into a lot of naked people.
It's going to be a hot as fuck day, too, apparently.
Yeah. It's going to be
Right.
gross.
Sweet.
Mama loves music. That's the I'm just imagining people just being hit by cars and stuff as they're just wandering through the countryside, 3 sheets to the wind while trying to finish a half marathon.
868 Pokemon lures are dropped somewhere in that area, so people just running around, trying to catch bullshit, drinking wine, getting hit by cars. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I just want to go watch this in a helicopter.
I don't even expect to end up playing music. I think we're just going to witness.
Just to go like, you're not even close to the finish line. You're just in a field.
Yeah, but there's a Pikachu.
Right. Picking grapes.
That guy just walked into a tree. He's not getting back up.
That's a dangerous place, I think. So, but if people wanted to see you, I assume that they could go to the finish line and not have to do a whole half marathon.
I think so.
Right? I would think.
I mean,
that's
they're
the
not
case.
making us do one. So
Yeah.
take
So,
the same path we
I'm gonna
did from
say
the parking
yes.
You
lot.
just have to carry your gear the whole way, too.
I'm going to say yes.
Since we're not sure of all of the details, what I would suggest is if you're interested in seeing music and you don't like staying up late,
Sure.
you swing by Saturday, June 3rd. Do a search for the Virginia Wine Country Half Marathon.
It's at Duquesne Winery
Duquesne
in
Winery?
Purcellville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what
So-
time does it start?
9 a.m., but we don't play until, I think we play at noon.
Yeah.
Well, you can't
I
drink
think
all day
I
if
think
you
we
don't
played
start in the
9
morning.
to noon.
What?
What?
That's the hours on the event you sent me.
Obviously, we have our shit together.
Yeah, you've professionals. You're professionals.
Well, we did this before, and
We
we
did this
started
2 years ago.
We started pretty early, so
That sounds right.
I once did the twice did the Cherry Blossom 10 miler, and it meant that we had to drive into DC and get to the Washington Monument at like 4:30 in the morning.
before they close off all the roads, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was a rough day. That was
Yikes.
That was a tough one.
Well, I tell you what, if anybody cares to visit us that day, we'll have the details at burntheballroom.com.
And there at the show, I assume that you'll play some music. One of those will be this next song. We're going to do a little excerpt from it. Well, tell me about the song.
This is the first track off of the new EP Ghost Notes called Thranity, as we mentioned earlier. And it's a kind of a cool one for me because this EP is the first album I helped write for Burn the Ballroom.
Very
since
cool.
I'm the newest person.
Okay.
And so I kind of added I play keyboards. So I added a lot of like orchestration and stuff that I kind of do to every project that I've ever joined.
Right.
So it's a lot more evident now, and the Burn the Ballroom sound is a little bit more full, I think.
Very cool. Well, it takes a quick listen to it. And again, if you want to hear the whole track, fast forward to the 1 hour mark of this particular podcast, and you'll be able to hear the entire track.
It's like Van Halen's Panama meets Nightmare Before Christmas.
Exactly.
There's an epicness to it.
Thank
Now,
you.
here's the thing. We're listening to a part of the song, and I'm sure Adam in post will probably just change the part of the song that
Sure.
we're listening to. and then we'll sound like idiots because
Well,
it'll be a quiet
right.
section.
But also, the song itself is like 6.5 minutes long because we figured we probably weren't going to get a lot of radio play anyway. So why not just open with like a huge like ballad?
Yeah, we
Nice.
just decided to
Oh.
make an odyssey of it.
Yeah, no, I like that. It lulls people into a false sense of security, and then bam.
Who listens to the radio anyway?
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody.
So that's very cool. How would you describe that music? What would you guys say is your kind of genre? Obviously, things change from song to song. I always have bands going like, we're very different because all our songs are different. And I go, that's all the bands.
I think Adriel kind of nailed it with thematic rock.
Okay.
Or anthemic.
anthemic rock.
It's very dramatic.
I can see that.
We-
Yeah,
We like to put on a show, so we like to play music that's sort of,
and a little
Place to
darker than your standard kind of anthemic rock, though. There's obviously a little bit of
There's a bit of like a Muse vibe.
Yeah,
that
I
people have
could see
told
that,
us from
yeah.
this new
I've-
record, which is cool because
Yeah, I mean, Thomas and I, when we play together, that we've always been really influenced by classical, romantic and baroque classical stuff. So that sort of makes its way in. And I always grew up listening to bands like Queen, and so the
Okay,
big
yeah.
over the top
I can
thing
hear
is
that, yeah.
a lot of fun for us.
Well, if you like Baroque music, you'll probably love the intro for our next section, This Week in History. You like that?
Sure, it's a little ragtime.
Yeah.
Suck on that.
It's Baroque ragtime. It's,
Sure.
Yeah. And I'm not much of a music person. But so this is what we're going to do is we're going to go through what happened this week in history or thereabouts, things that we thought were pretty important. At the end, we're going to ask you what is the most historically important thing that happened to you.
So this week we decided to
your
go. Keith covered sort of the end of the 20th century, and
Yeah.
I went for things that happened towards the beginning,
Except
with
I-
one exception
Yeah.
because
I ruined
this
it.
first one's pretty good.
Yeah, I ruined it, but we have to do this one. There was a very famous person who died. You know, I'd love to give you guys just a moment to actually guess, okay? You know the Declaration of Independence, people who signed that, pretty important founding farmers,
Yeah,
founding
I saw the Nick
farmers.
Cage movie.
I've
Yeah.
heard people say it.
founding fathers of our country. One of them died in 1777, not far after, they actually signed it.
The next year.
He died from injuries received in a duel. That man, do you guys have any guesses? Man who signed the Declaration of Independence.
This is like Aaron Burr.
Oh, good guess. Good guess. That's a dark horse, definitely. Anyone, Thomas? I know you're just a musician, but you can pull this out.
I feel like I saw the Drunk History episode on this.
There's John Hancock. He does a signature. That would have been
Was
one.
it Jackson?
I think
That's probably way later. I don't know my
Yeah.
history at all.
so.
No, Jackson. He ended the Civil War.
Yeah, probably
So
not.
the
Jack-
same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this would be Button Gwinnett, the famous founding father of Button Gwinnett.
Oh,
That's a guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see his name on the famous.
It's over. It's lower right side.
Yeah.
He got made fun of in middle school, man.
Yeah, he did.
That guy did not come out in public very often.
Yeah, I don't even know how that that duel that he died from was probably someone be like, that's not even a real name, and he's like, I will shoot you.
Honey,
Duel.
look at this beautiful boy you just birthed. What shall we name him? Button.
Right.
That's fucking stupid.
This is
but
the
I
last
like it.
time I fuck a 13-year-old. They did that back then. I'm not saying it was right,
Sure.
but it happened. It
Right.
occurred. And that is what a 13-year-old would name their baby. So it's a thing. Trust me.
All
He
right.
died in a duel.
Yeah, in a duel, which is a brave way to go out
Kinda
for a guy
pretty
named
good.
Button.
Stop making fun of my name. Oh shit, I'm dead.
He couldn't even stand up for that. Anyhow, so that's what I had to start off with.
All right.
Pretty important, Button Gwinnett.
So let's see. In 1915, the joys of the beginning of World War I, Italy declares war on Austria-Hungary, which is basically the one of the dominoes that collapsed the entire European continent. It was like, I'm secret buddies with this nation,
Yeah.
you're secret buddies with that nation, and we're secret buddies with this third person who's
Yeah.
enemies with that person. It's like, Italy declares war, and everything went to shit.
Right.
That started in 1915.
Then everybody else in Europe was like, all right. I guess
well,
we'll
if you're
do
going
war.
to war, I'll go to war.
Yeah, I guess so.
You gonna go to war?
How do you feel,
Should we go
France?
to war? Sure, let's go to war.
Okay, can I finish my lunch? Sure, yeah. After lunch, you can go to work? Yeah.
But I am retired.
tired. So, yeah, that's the beginning of the war, or the first domino that goes in the war. Then what?
Yeah, well, they joined on the side of the Allies and then changed their mind 30 years later.
No, that was bad.
Yup.
We want to
yup,
be on
yup.
the other side.
So anyway, moving on.
Yes.
In 1934, the very famous outlaws, Bonnie and Clyde, were shot to death in a stolen Ford.
They also signed the Declaration of Independence.
Yes, they did. They signed it slightly after 17 something, blah, 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 blah.
According to Thomas. They
but
stole
they're-
it and then signed it.
But they were shot to death by Texas and Louisiana state police officers. They attempt to escape apprehension in a stolen 1934 Ford Deluxe
Yes.
near stupid name Louisiana.
If
Damn
you haven't seen a
French.
picture of that Ford Deluxe, all fucked up.
Yeah,
Like that's
lots of holes. in
lots of holes. There's some guy
Lots of
drive past
holes.
like, I can fix that for like $50.
See,
Like,
see,
no.
you could have made it if you had positive traction. You
Yeah.
can't make those marks without positive traction.
Nice.
That's where it's where one tire,
Yeah.
limited slip differential within the front and the left and right
Whereas
tires.
anybody in Alabama knows one tire spins, the other one does nothing.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Absolutely happens.
So, speaking of,
Dead
X amount
people.
of years later, the joys. My biological clock is ticking like this. It just anyway. Himmler commits suicide. Himmler. It's not actually a misspelling of Hitler. It's Heinrich Himmler, chief of the SS, assistant chief to the Gestapo, and
It's a sad day for the Nazis.
Do you think Hitler was like, I like you. Your name is very similar to my name.
Yes.
I will make you leader of
That's how he
Nazis."
did it.
He was the architect of Hitler's program to exterminate the European Jews.
Are there any Ritlers around here? I would make a Rittler if you want to be a leader.
Himmler.
Is there a Littler?
Big man
Any
Himmler.
Litlers?
Himmler?
Is there,
Because they all
is
sound
there
like
a
the staple
Dittler?
guy.
Any Dittlers in here? You'll be the lead for our Air Force.
Sure.
I don't know what a plane
anyway,
is.
yeah, he committed suicide on this day in 1945 because whatever Hitler did, he did. So that was the end of like the Ruskies. The Ruskies came in jamming on "Burn the Ballroom."
Yeah.
you know, just rocking out and
That's
fact.
bang. Oh, he did.
That's what my teacher said too.
Yeah,
did.
it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So
I
you're
was
saying,
there. I remember.
So Himmler looked at Hitler kill himself and go, "Yeah, I'll do that too." Like it's a World War I thing again.
Yep.
He was like,
Although he's not that bad. He did
can I
kill
finish,
Himmler.
Can I finish lunch? Yeah, but he also killed the guy who killed Himmler.
Okay, yeah, that kind of unredeems him. Anyway,
Yeah. All right. So I have some that maybe don't have to do as much with death. In 1981, Miss USA was the first person disqualified from the Miss USA contest. Deborah Ann Fountain, Miss New York State, is disqualified for padding her swimsuit bra. That was the disqualification. She claimed it was just trying to make it fit better, which is exactly what I say when people find out I have a sock in my pants. So just there's a little room in there. I'm just
you got it on a leash?
Yeah.
If it's not on a leash, it's at large.
exactly. And so so you can be disqualified if you pad your swimsuit.
Joy.
Something to know.
We've all been there.
The question is,
You know,
if it was in the boob area.
Smuggling canaries. That's what I knew.
Because if it was like in the tummy area, then you'd be like, wow, I mean, that was a disadvantage.
Yeah,
so
right.
She should really win twice.
Is that a baby or is that a burrito?
Exactly. 1983. I like this one a lot. Reagan. You guys remember Reagan, right?
We
That
were
was a
there.
guy.
Yeah,
He
we were alive
existed.
then.
Swell fella.
Yeah. He was the U.S. president at the time. I guess
Thomas is like, oh, yes, U.S. president. Okay.
a lot of people, if they were to become president, would have a long list of things that they'd want to do. Maybe, I don't know, romp in the Lincoln bedroom.
In a romper.
Yeah, in a romper.
The bro romper.
Bro romper. That's stupid because you have to take the whole thing off just to shit.
Yeah. No, there's a flap in the back.
I get naked when I shit anyway.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? It's freeing.
It's much more freeing.
It's the only way you can turn around. Otherwise, your
then
pants get all messed up.
You have that table there in front
Yeah,
of you.
you
to
can
set
put your
stuff
elbows on it and rest your head. It's nice. It's relaxing. And
Anyway.
so that would be on a
Moving
lot of
on.
people's lists, meet the Pope, those sorts of things. The U.S. president stuck his thumbs in his ears, wiggled his fingers, and said to the press, "I've been waiting to do that for years."
Wow. I'm so glad that everybody took
I've
him
been waiting
seriously.
years to do this, is what he said. That was his claim to glory. He was like, "President, I can fucking do anything I want." Nah.
I'd pick up the red phone and go, fires the missiles!
Yes. In 1992, Chicago bans the sale of spray paint. Did you know that?
Why?
They what?
Spray paint.
What did?
Chicago
Bans it?
banned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They cite that it is a weapon of terror. Their sale is banned in an effort to reduce graffiti. I wasn't able to find out if they unbanned it.
I was just in Chicago. If I would have
How'd that
known, I
work?
would have tried to buy some spray paint.
Yeah, you should have. And then done terror.
I mean,
with it.
Amazon's still going to deliver it.
Right,
RoboCop would be on you in a second.
They're
Yeah.
number one terrorist.
That's
there
what
is
RoboCop's
Amazon
doing.
Prime. Just
Yeah.
delivering the weapons to the people.
Yeah. And so
Destructo spray paints.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen some musicals about that town, and I feel like if they were trying to eliminate terror, they should have eliminated or banned zoot suits or something.
that's true. A little late to the party. I
Though
think
there
in
were
1992.
spray paint murals in the bridges, so someone's finding it.
Ooh.
It's like you can leave Chicago and buy something and come back.
What?
No, they search you on the way in.
Did not think about that.
Yeah.
Take that,
Thank God.
states' rights.
Thank God Trump wasn't mayor of Chicago. There'd be a giant wall around Chicago.
And they'd have paid for it.
And they
In
would
spray paint
And the
profits.
outside of it would just be completely
Right.
covered in graffiti.
Right. And we're make Cleveland pay for it too.
It'd just be one really, really long dick that goes all the way around the city.
Just right back into its own asshole.
My God.
And you'd have to drive really far to find out where's this thing. Oh,
Really
why did I spend all that time?
I'm really worried
Could have
that
just
your dick has
reversed
an asshole.
3 feet and saw the end.
Well, they're not bright out there in Illinois, apparently. Last but not least, in 1993, a little piece of history we like to call Air Force One. President Clinton ties up Los Angeles International Airport while he gets a $200 haircut aboard Air Force One on the runway. They're like,
So,
because no planes are allowed to take off or land while Air Force One's on the ground.
yeah, and he's like, don't take off, I need a haircut. And it gets all bouncy.
That's a good
up
power
there.
move.
Yeah.
right. Except nothing changes because
Well,
LA
he
Airport
can
is
still-
always
He can still
delayed.
fire the person in charge of the FAA. So what are they going to do about it?
Here's the thing I'm confused about. Why do you have to pay $200 for a haircut? Like, he's a fucking president. You just be like, cut my hair. And
I guess
people
they
are
had to
like, "Oh,
equate
sure."
like what that guy's rate would be if he was cutting anybody else's hair.
Did he have to tip him? Like, I mean, you're the president. It should just be like, thank you for
And it's
letting me
not
cut
like
your
Clinton
hair.
had crazy hair or anything.
It was pretty like Barbara Bush hair, if you think about it.
But it wasn't like, okay.
It was puffy.
It wasn't a flock of seagulls or anything.
No, that's true. It wasn't like, Mr. T hair or something. Yeah, it wasn't.
Unfortunately.
It should have been. It absolutely should have been. So the question remains, now that you have heard everything that has happened throughout history that we could find because we're lazy, what would you say for you personally? What is the most impactful thing that happened this week?
I mean, I know for me, and I
Yeah.
think I speak a little bit for Thomas when I say March 30th, 1968 is Celine Dion's birthday.
What? How did we miss that?
Yeah,
That's not on our list.
it's a big deal for
Because
us.
it's not this week.
Because it's not March 30th.
Yeah,
not-
but
yeah,
but
not
you said
March
the most
30th.
important thing in history.
In history,
and
just
it happened. It happened recently enough.
Yeah, but that would have been
recently
a,
enough.
You're still celebrating
it
it.
was
But
a
I-
previous show.
I'm not done with it.
It's still like the 12 days of
Celine Dion.
Dion's
You're
birthday.
just riding that struggle
Yeah.
bus today.
I am. I don't.
On
Well,
the other
hold
hand,
on there, Thomas. Just pause for a second because along the lines of Adriel, I know what your most important event is. I quote, I once heard Thomas say,
Yes.
all music was pretty much just a build-up until Phil Collins' career.
Right, you can't beat it.
Yeah. That was Michael Jackson, I believe. Beat it. So what is that happened this week as well? We didn't get his birthday. What happened?
I want to see what happens when Phil Collins and Celine Dion arm wrestle.
Music. Just music comes out. It's
Just the universe
angels.
collapses.
I would say, though, for me, I began construction on my first coffin.
Yeah, that's true.
What, just this week?
Yeah.
Or was it years ago?
3
this
days
week?
ago.
Are you planning to die more than once?
Yeah.
This is
How
only
many
your first
coffins do you need?
Well, like if the first one's terrible.
What do you care? You're dead. What are you afraid? It's going to be too short?
No, it's a-
I'll sell it on Etsy to some asshole, and then I'll build a better one.
if it's
You
too
just
short,
saw your knees off.
yeah, we just fold you. You're dead. It doesn't
Honestly,
matter.
it's a skill that I'm surprised he hasn't previously acquired.
Yeah. Why?
we already
Wait,
started-
why? That's interesting.
That's just because that's the kind of guy that he is.
He's. Where are you storing it? And then
At a doctor's office.
second question
It is,
is,
I am building it at a doctor's office.
are you storing other stuff in it?
Not currently.
Not currently.
No.
It is currently vacant.
Okay. This is
I hope you make like 5 of them. You just put part of you in each one.
I just have nowhere to put all these coffins I keep making.
And this entire graveyard is just Thomas.
I hope that you make one coffin that fits you, and then one coffin that's slightly bigger than that coffin that you put the original coffin in, and then you just keep doing that like Russian
in the
nested
spirit of
doll.
Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
And you
matrushkas.
Yeah, you just lower your coffin into a coffin into a
Commie.
coffin into a coffin into
And
the
then you
hole.
put my ashes in the very center.
right.
But people still have
In
to
a
carry
vase.
a 500-pound
Right.
casket.
It's just in an urn that is encased in another urn with another urn around it. And
Perfect.
yeah, I hope that this happens. I'm very excited. Okay. So what you guys have chosen as the most impactful thing that happened in history this week is nothing that we mentioned and one of thing that didn't even happen this week. So awesome with that. Good job.
Well, none of them had to do with me.
I'm glad
Solid
to
point.
hear.
I mean,
Solid point.
debatable though.
Yeah.
Because Phil Collins and Celine Dion have both impacted your life tremendously.
Phil Collins does get in there.
From
Phil
behind.
Collins.
No, Phil Collins is a cat.
Yeah,
Phil Collins
Thomas.
became a cat.
Just for some context, every cat that Thomas sees ever anywhere is
Yeah.
automatically named Phil Collins.
Phil Collins the cat.
Yeah,
All
is,
of them.
is every cat.
Have you owned a cat named Phil Collins?
No, but people that I know keep stealing that name from me. There's like 3 cats now named that, and I'm pissed about it.
Are they named that, or do you just call them that and refuse to
No,
actually?
they named it that.
They're like, do not recognize the name that you've named.
Oh, that's a
this
cool
cat.
name. Stolen.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on.
So,
Speaking of Phil Collins,
Yeah.
Burn the Ballroom.
yes, that is what you'll be
Yeah.
synonymous with from this point forward. We like to do, to finish up our show, a little game that we play called the 5 Senses. The idea is that some of the best stories that will ever come out of your memory are attached to the 5 senses that you have. So we'll start with the most dominant of all of your senses, sense of sight. Has anything happened to you guys while you're on tour, while you are
What have you
practicing
seen?
in the studio?
I mean, we've seen some shit.
Yeah, that's what
I
we
would
want to find
say
out.
that our month that we spent in Russia on tour,
Yeah.
I never saw anyone less than an 8. Like any girl ever less than an 8 in the entire country.
So they were all at least 8 years old.
Correct.
Is what you're saying. That's good.
That's usually on the criteria for me to make an 8
Which
is
in
be at least
God.
that years.
and in Russia, that is the
Plus
age of
quite a few more.
that's the age of consent, right? In Russia, is that the case? I don't know.
I think they said it was still 18.
Oh, what? God, what backwards country is that?
Sure.
But if all the
What a
girls,
waste of time.
I know.
but if all the women were at least 8s, what about the guys?
Not 8s.
If they're all 8s, then that just makes them all like 1s, right? Like 'cause
No.
that's the starting point.
Not when I'm visiting.
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
saying. So if you moved there, you'd slowly just be like the rest of the world.
I
is
would just
ugly.
sink to the bottom if I moved there. No, there were a lot of weirdly offset couples. It'd be like this ridiculously hot, cliche Russian looking girl with like some dude a foot shorter than her,
In a
like
tracksuit.
goofy looking. We did see some guys in tracksuits.
There were a
It
lot
was
of
everything
tracksuits.
you ever hoped it would be.
Yeah.
The Slavic squat, whenever they took pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do them?
A lot of reachers.
We did them with them, yeah.
Nice.
There's some of the embassy people with us did those.
The embassy
my.
people?
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's like they don't even know we're making fun of them.
I mean, I do have to say, one of my favorite things that I've seen on tour was we were in Egypt and I saw Yanni at the gym.
That is
What?
true. He was there at the same hotel.
Who
Yeah.
goes to the gym when you're on tour in
Well,
Egypt?
You know,
It's hot as fuck in Egypt.
we'd been doing a fair share of partying with some folks, and I was trying to offset that by not being such a lazy piece of shit
Sure.
in my
Yeah, I
hotel.
guess,
I
So
did not try that.
yeah, so I brought my gym clothes like a champ, and I was down in there, and this guy walks in. He definitely has 2 guns, and he's standing right in front of me while I'm on the treadmill, and I just thought maybe he just decided he didn't like me in the lobby and was just gonna like wait for his opportunity. And then I got off the treadmill and walked over to the weights, and there was Yanni, who is way smaller than I thought he was, doing like 3 curls with like a 10-pound dumbbell, and he looked super proud of himself. And then
Did he outlift
like,
you? Be honest.
well, you know, I don't think this is the place to get into it, but he said hi. He
Nice.
seemed a very nice guy, and then he left to go do a show at the Sphinx, which I guess is okay.
No big deal.
Yeah, he had to kind of one up us on our tour there.
Yeah. Did you know just in an instant that it was Yanni? Because if you were to line up like 3 Greek guys and be like, one of these guys is Yanni,
He had some context.
I
Yeah.
would get it wrong
Well,
like 3 times.
I mean, I there was
Is that the first guy? No. Third guy? No.
Is it the
Going
first guy?
first guy again.
It's got to be the first guy.
you know, there were a series of clues. There were giant banners in the lobby with Yanni on it, and then
Okay, so
The
you're
only
like,
thing, the
hey.
only thing that took priority over the U.S. Embassy's shuttles taking us out of the hotel was Yanni's private security taking him out because we were not allowed to leave until he finished leaving.
also what was
Oh.
really funny is
You got Yanni'd.
yeah, we did.
Yeah. What was really good was we got stopped and held up a whole bunch of times because we just looked like musicians, and so the security guys the security guys kept assuming that we were with Yanni, and so they
Yeah.
wouldn't let us go without the proper detail.
Right.
And so they wouldn't let us leave sometimes, assuming that we were supposed to be leaving with a whole bunch of security. And so we had to like a couple of times like
I mean, they were nice
hell
about
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It was just like,
It was just weird. They were
You should
like,
have just said yes. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna need a detail. Just
Well,
we're getting burgers.
yeah,
let's do this.
like we couldn't leave sometimes because we were just being held up, which is like arguably the most rock star reason to get held up
Right.
for some bullshit.
A bigger rock stars prevented it.
Yeah,
And people assume that we were with him.
yeah, that's a pretty rock star to be like.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't go out because you could be in danger. You're that
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, that's what it
Oh,
was.
well.
Bitch,
All
I
right.
know it.
I like danger.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so did you get a picture with him or anything? Or?
I did not. The guy with two guns was just like not into it.
Yeah, he was like, just stay away. And you're
yeah.
like,
That was also when I learned who Yanni was.
you didn't know Yanni before
I
that?
did not know who Yanni
With
was.
all of the like movie soundtracky things you've done and orchestral stuff, I would think that would be at least on your radar. And
I thought it
wasn't.
was.
I don't know.
I thought it was impressive that you knew he was Greek.
Yeah, he does. He did like a great big like concert like at the Parthenon or something like that.
He
if
does
I
that
remember.
apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
he
was pretty
just
amazing.
gets the places that you can't play.
Right. And he's like, I
Barely-
am doing it in Antarctica.
The moon.
All right. Exactly.
Only concert ever held on the moon.
So
Yeah,
let's
so funny.
let's move on to the I think what might be the easiest sense for two musicians, sense of hearing.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a lot of things as a musician. Have you heard something on tour in the studio? Is there something that really struck you? It could be horrible, it could be amazing, or just a moment where you heard something that really stuck with you.
I mean, I have a serious one.
Yeah, let's do
hit
it.
us.
We were jamming with.
It's Yanni again, isn't it?
I wish. I wish
The
I
voice
had.
of an angel.
Yes.
I wish I had a story about Yanni for every sense. I'll work on it for next time. But
As he's lifting.
we were, yeah, it was glorious. But we were in Saudi Arabia, and where, by the way, music is forbidden in the kingdom.
Yeah,
Yes,
so it makes sense
that's
to send a band on tour there.
Yeah,
Right.
What? Hold
super
the phone. How
flirting
is
with
music
death.
if you're
Yeah.
just humming down the street, do they detain you?
No, it's a cappella is fine as long as it's in praise.
Yeah.
Music, according along to instrumentals, is forbidden. So,
Yeah.
We were jamming with one of the handful of state-sanctioned traditional Saudi bands, and we actually have a video of it online. I'm gonna have to make sure the link is clear because it's funny. But we had discovered that a lot of the musicians in the Middle East didn't really play in major scales, so we had a really tough time jamming.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because they didn't really play in the same modes as we did,
Right.
and we were playing with this one group, and they were just super awesome and really professional and really really good musicians. And so we were playing this song Chariot acoustic, and they jumped right in, and you can hear some of it on that video. I'm gonna have to make sure that link is up on the site on burntheballroom.com. But it was super fucking cool to have these guys playing these like hammered dulcimers and the drums and stuff right along, and it made the song sound super awesome. That was
That's
the coolest
amazing.
thing I think I heard.
And you didn't get arrested and murdered or anything.
It was
No,
like,
they gave us fried chicken.
it was within his house. So it's kind of like it's forbidden,
safe
but you're
zone.
invited in his house, so
Okay.
no one cares.
Also, this was a handful of state-sanctioned like musicians that go anytime.
But you
like
weren't. Like, I'm wondering, like, did you get a free pass because you were next to them, or?
We were like within behind his walls or whatever
Yeah.
in his house. It seems
Okay.
like no
his
one really
music
cares. Like,
dojo.
most of those houses had like fully stocked bars
You should have caught him
inside their
on.
house. It was just like
Yeah.
Tea. It was tea. We
Yeah.
were supposed to call
Right.
it tea.
Boo.
Teach him the
Booze are
song.
illegal.
What's
Yeah.
that song?
Wink,
The
wink.
God That Failed. Teach him that song.
Yeah. So, all right, that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
The most tightly or intensely connected sense to memory, scientifically speaking, is the olfactory sense, a sense of smell. Do you guys have a quick? We got about a minute left. Maybe a story about something either amazing or horrifying that you've smelled. While
I guess I remember the way the pear smelled. I ate my first pear 2 years ago.
so this is fascinating because I've known you for a little while, and there's a long list of things that you should have eaten by your age.
Right, and I remember the smell. It was
Yeah.
in Tunisia, and apparently the Mediterranean is the best place to have fruit.
Yeah.
and I was the first pear I've ever had.
Yeah, and how
It was
old were you
amazing.
at that
It was
point?
delicious. It was 28.
28, and I believe was orange. I think was one that you waited a long
I had
time.
an orange 3 years ago.
Strawberry.
3 years.
I just
Well, my
nobody
fa-
told me how to eat it though, so I
Yeah.
just bit into it.
He bit into the orange straight through the peel. It was incredible.
You're like,
I guess I've seen
Metal.
like tangerines or whatever.
that's like a Yahoo Serious movie. I'm just watching you eat fruits that you don't know. Banana? Did you have a?
I've
What
had
was-
bananas before.
You
What
also
are things-
chomped into that one,
I'm not
didn't you?
insane.
What are the things that you've had We've run out of time. All right, we're going to find out this list later of things that you've
Sure.
never eaten or ate since like 25 because it's fascinating. I hope you guys will come back. Everybody, please, thanks to Burn the Ballroom for coming out to
thanks for
tonight.
having
Welcome. Thanks for having us.
Coming up this week, we have J-Dubs playing at Slash Run on May 30th. Viv and Vigors at the Midlands in June 2nd, so look them out. Next week, we have no idea who's coming in next week, I'll be honest. If you enjoyed the show, email us at contact@anotherwastedhour. If you hated the show, I don't care. Just don't do anything to hurt anyone else with all your hate. Thanks to Kevin Evinger, to McNally22, Justin Rogers, Figmental Records, Alchemical Records, and the amazing reincarnating engineer Adam for all of their contributions. Thanks to Victor, most of all. Thanks to Burn the Ballroom for coming out. Check them out at burntheballroom.com. This has been another Wasted Hour. If you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.
shadow will go. sunshine.